Welcome back. You're watching Today, and Gauteng may have to face more water woes as hot summer days are approaching. Bulk water supplier Rand Water says 2023 has been dubbed the hottest year on record, and this has had a devastating impact on its systems. Joining us to discuss this is the CEO of the South African Water Chamber, Benoit Leroy. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Let's speak about the severity of this issue and the impact that the hot weather has had on it getting worse than maybe initially anticipated.
Hi, Rafua, and those watching us on a nice, sunny, not too hot Sunday afternoon. But yes, heat doesn't seem to be our friend at the moment. So generally speaking, water usage does increase when the weather gets a bit hotter, and that's human nature. It's not necessarily everybody is watering their gardens or topping up their pools. It's a combination of things. Air conditioners need more, especially in shopping centers, industry, etc., has more losses. But the issue doesn't seem to really be at a bulk water supplier, so Rand Water at the moment in Gauteng. And they said this week they are pumping way over their water use license allocation, which is a temporary issue and not a problem when the dams are full. But if you put more pressure in a leaking hosepipe or bucket, we like to call it, it leaks more. And unfortunately, our cities in the world, so it's not just a South African issue, our cities in the world have leaking buckets. But South Africa's leaking bucket has more holes than most. It has double the holes than the average in any industrial economy. So as Rand Water puts more water in actual fact, just leaks more, and we get more burst pipes and the like. So it actually defeats the object of it. But people are trying to find their way. So the hot weather is going to test us. Unfortunately, we're going into El Nino, and it looks like the Met guys are probably on the right wicket here, which is not good for food security. It's not alarming, it's just not good. But with a hot summer, we draw more water, and what happens is our innate systems that are at the end of their life are in actual fact exposed to, let's say, the harshest conditions. So like at eThekwini, we're heading for a very tough time. I've got family and friends who haven't had water for 2 weeks in Johannesburg, but it's an ongoing thing. It's been going on for about 2 years at the moment. It's not good, but we need to address the leaky bucket syndrome. So it's about a 25 billion rand bill to fix up Joburg Water's leaking infrastructure, and you can't do it overnight. It's big pipes. We have the technology, we have the supply chains, we don't have the money in the fiscus, so it has to come from other parts. There are solutions. It's a complex system, and we need really some smart guys and girls around to help us get through this. But I think through the media, raising awareness and the likes is an important way to try and rally the forces. We must try crowdfunding also. I think that's going to be another way, because when we run out of water, unlike electricity, we all run out of it. There's no substitute. So we've got to fix it. And then we've got to avoid the Zimbabwe situation, the Hammanskraal situation. Zimbabwe is a very tough situation where eventually when systems run dry, cholera starts and other things, dysentery and like, start running rife. So we have to address the issue, and we have to do it with a limited budget to do that. We have the technology, so it's not all doom and gloom. There's hope, but we need to react, and we're not. The issue is we're not reacting. Pumping more water into the system is a good thing to try, but it's not really going to help us this summer or next summer. If you have a 7-year cycle, so we need to do some things now.
Yeah, I mean, what are some of those things, Benoit? Because you've mentioned the use of technology and the right skill set. But what are some of the other low-hanging fruits that could plug these holes? Because as you say, it's not a problem that's going to be fixed tomorrow. But surely, apart from pumping more water into the system, there have to be sustainable ways to plug these holes while we wait for longer-term solutions that we can afford.
So how do we manage, for example, telecommunications that can get overloaded in times and all that? It's all done with not third or fourth, fifth industrial technology. And we have the technology. The world has started about 10 years ago, but at a heightened pace about 5 years ago only, in digitizing the water systems and infrastructure. And we need to start doing that. We believe through surveys we're about 40% ready. I think we're 50 to 60% ready in the metros, where we need to start digitizing. So using Internet of Devices, using smart analytics, machine learning. I'm not talking ChatGPT here, but artificial intelligence, because we have to look forward, not backwards, using machine learning. There's quite a few tools available. They're available fairly readily. These things can be put in between 3 to 6, maybe 9 months. And there's a host of vendors internationally who are busy doing it for different reasons, but we can do that. And also what we can do is through this latest tech, we can then focus, we can rifle shot where the low-hanging fruit are, where the really big leaks are. And these are not leaks that you see in the street. What you see in the street is 1 to 5%. The real leaks, the 40 to 50%, is into the ground. And one could argue it's good for groundwater, and it's very expensive water. This is not 40 cents a kiloliter water. This is 12 rand 50 to 15 rand a liter from Rand water. So a cubic meter. So we need to address it using technology so that we can put the money that's required to address the biggest leaks. So hit the 20% of the bulk lines to get that Pareto principle, the 80% effect, and that can be done relatively quick. But what I'm saying is going to take us probably a year to 18 months before field effects if you start tonight or tomorrow morning. So there isn't this quick thing like with energy. It's not electrons on off. Water systems take a while to build up, a while to dry out, a while to reinstate. So it's not a quick fix. So we need to start. And I always talk about the talk shops. Well, we need some of them like this, but we need the workshops where we actually do the work. So these tools are available. We need to start doing it. And we have the load shedding schedules and all this all on smartphones. It's a bit more complex with water, but we are clever people, in the fifth industrial revolution. We can put water on there so we can plan our lives at least and say water is going to be at a low pressure, low availability over these days, etc., because it's not like on off like electricity. So like I said just now, you got to plan 2-3 weeks in advance. These systems do take time to fill up and to empty and to recover, as we've seen. And we need to start informing people and businesses how to actually manage the water that may be available. We're all sharing in the same water pool, over a period of time. Yeah. But these tools are available. So we need to move. We need to move there. The big thing is we need to move. We're talking a lot. We're raising awareness. We're not moving. And pumping more water into the system just means more leaks.
Yeah, you raise a very important point, because that's what I wanted us to conclude our conversation on, was how important will the component of educating communities and businesses across the country about water management and usage going forward, because it cannot be left to water infrastructure and the technological advancements that you've just spoken about. The efforts are also going to have to come from the users as well.
But I'm a big proponent that the users are not the problem. The problem are the distributors and the municipalities. So I think let's start with education. We are skills deficit. We've got politicization of basic services, especially water and electricity. And we need to, in actual fact, put that into the civil service. And I know the guys and the girls are very, very willing. Okay. I think the communities are down. We're way below. We're about a third below the global average in water consumption per capita. Don't look at the official figures in Stats SA, because those include 50% water leaks. You can't include that. That's leaked before it gets to the consumer. So whilst we raise awareness that people need to maybe change their habits and the timing of the habits, I don't believe we can reduce our water habits as much as we could with the energy. It's really going to be within the civil service and municipalities where we need not the average, not the smart. We need the smartest professionals in there to be able to rescue that situation. And I think we can do that because, water is a service you always need. So there's no sell-by date with the service. It's an ongoing one. We'll need it tomorrow and the day afterwards. So it's a very attractive career. It's a very demanding career. And worldwide, it's booming. It's actually booming in the water space. But in South Africa, it's just stagnating and leaking, and we don't have availability. So we need to do that. So I think the education needs to come into the communities to push and hold the municipalities to account in a nice way and in a professional way. And let's amend our habits and let's start digitizing everything so that we can synchronize the availability, the water we're using, the water we're sharing, and the water we may need and the rainfall that we think that's coming. We can synchronize that with technology. I think we could do that quite easily.
Thank you very much for those insights, Benoit Leroy, who's the CEO of the South African Water Chamber, saying that we need to ramp up the skills set that can fix the water issues, and pumping water into the system is not going to be the only solution in this regard.